Star Wars is full of intricate characters and interconnected stories, and sometimes the connections between the shows can be subtle but significant. In today's video, we're diving into Star Wars Rebels and Andor and highlighting 3 key ways these two shows are connected and how they build upon the other. Whether you're a longtime fan or a new fan of the Star Wars universe, these layers add connections to all of the shows that we love. Now, in many different interviews, Diego Luna has talked about the development of Andor, going back to his first beginning in Rogue One and now finishing with Andor Season 1 and Season 2. And although Andor is not in Star Wars Rebels, we do get to see the growth of the rebellion and how it's forming in Andor and how it continues to form through Rogue One and continues on from that. We get to see a lot of the different things that will put them into a difficult position and help create the Force that we will see in The Force Awakens, in this case being the First Order. Now, although the Rebels have a common goal, there are a lot of different factions, and this is something that Tony Gilroy wanted to demonstrate and show by using all of these different characters and all of these different conflicts that each character has. For example, Bail Organa disagrees with the way that Andor continues to act and not follow the procedures and rules that they have in place, and there is a disagreement with those that are present to hear out what he has to say regarding the Death Star news and those plans that are potentially going to cause harm to the rebellion. We even get to see how they talk about Luthen, who just gave his life in order for the rebellion to even know about this Death Star and the creation of it. Alright, so starting with number 1, the creation of the rebellion and how it continues to develop throughout Andor, Rogue One, and eventually into A New Hope. If it was not for the character of Andor, the rebellion would not be what it is today in the Star Wars universe, of course. We continue to see the character of Mon Mothma and how she has become such an incredible piece of the Star Wars history, given that her scene was cut from Revenge of the Sith because they wanted to focus on the story of Anakin Skywalker and everything else that they had to tell. But seeing Mon Mothma and how she develops as a character throughout Andor, Rogue One, and New Hope, of course, is just such an incredible performance. We get to see her development as soon as she is done with her speech and calls out Emperor Palpatine. She drops her robes, and that is a symbol to show that Mon is no longer what she was and is now transitioning into that rebel leader that we will see later. For this last point, the growing threat of the Empire and how it is shown in Andor really makes the stormtroopers seem scary, and it really adds so much more to those characters that most of we don't really know their names except for a few here and there, and getting to see what they do to the Gorman people, but also getting to see how they fight and what they actually do in these shows and how they're portrayed in a more serious tone compared to other shows that they've been shown in is just amazing. And I think it really adds to something that we all know. We all know they have a Death Star, but getting to see the propaganda and how it's utilized, because we've seen this in Star Wars Rebels as well. On Empire Day, we get to see a little glimpse, but it's different getting to see it in live action versus getting to see it in an animated form. And I think for me, seeing the growth of the Empire, how they're willing to manipulate the masses and lie about things that are happening in order to get what they need. For example, with the Emperor's energy program, Mon Mothma's speech does so much for this character. I would add that for Ezra Bridger and his decision to keep Thrawn away while not knowing what was in store for him, using those floating space wells. And I think that when it comes to the character of Ezra Bridger and deciding to keep Thrawn away, it really helps us understand a lot better why they make those decisions throughout Star Wars Rebels and what it is about the Empire that they fear, that they don't want to experience, that they don't want others in the galaxy to experience, and why they want it to come to a complete stop. And in Star Wars Rebels, we get to see how those characters react to Mon Mothma, including Ezra Bridger, how he reacts to Mon Mothma's speech calling out Emperor Palpatine. And that was only a small piece, so you can imagine what that did for others. And it inspired them, it motivated them, and it encouraged them to do more than what they were doing and to truly believe that there is hope in the galaxy. I'd like to know what some of your top 3 things are between those two shows. Of course, there's a bunch of Easter eggs that we can talk about, but I'm going to stop there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow for more, and don't forget to stay tuned for more 3-point videos like this.